Dr. Carter, how are you?
Pretty good. And you?
I'm
How's it
great.
going?
To introduce you as the 2023 president of the Seattle chapter of the National Black MBA Association, it's such an honor for me. You know, I'm excited, right?
So am I. So am I. Been looking forward to it.
I love it. So, Dr. Carter, would you just take a moment? I'm going to spotlight you. Can you just tell people who you are? Who is
Mhm.
Dr. James Carter?
My name is Dr. James Carter. I am the current executive director of the Breakfast Group. I manage the programs for the Breakfast Group to include Project Mister, All Achievers, and our Diversity Career Program. A little bit about my background. I am a born and raised in Chicago. Spent all of my time growing up in Chicago, as well as my education. Graduated from Chicago State University in Chicago, achieved two master's degrees at St. Xavier University in Chicago, and then achieved my doctorate at Argosy University. Father of two sons, uh, worked on the Chicago Police Department for 23 years and worked in the United States Air Force for 28 years in the Air Force Reserves. I came here to Seattle in 2015, and last year I was contacted by some good friends to consider the possibility of joining the National Black MBA Seattle chapter, and here we are today.
I think I accidentally removed Dr. Carter from the stream. We're live, people. That's all I have to say. We're live. I was trying to spotlight him, and what I did was remove him from the live stream. Not my intention. Let me just say that.
There we go.
Oh, thank God you're back.
All right. All right. Listen, it seems like there are a lot of buttons to press here that we have to get used to. So,
Thank you so much. I'm like, I
mhm,
think I just deleted Dr. Carter from the live stream.
mhm.
Welcome back. That was a quick pop back in. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm getting
So
the hang of it.
you can hang up.
Mhm,
Dr. Carter, tell us a little bit about, you just talked about your background.
mhm.
One of the individuals that has been trying to get you and I connected is Dr. James Smith. He's one of the most senior members of National Black MBA.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about him, your mentoring relationship with him, and why he thought it was so important for you to be a part of the organization, and why others should consider bringing their leadership skills to the Black MBA as well.
Sure. So Dr. Jim Smith is a wonderful person. I met him in my association with the Breakfast Group here in the Seattle area. Along in our time getting to know each other, I've really leaned on him as a mentor, especially because he is I want to say, experienced in the politics and the ins and outs of the education field here in the Seattle area. His expertise, his participation in boards and school districts is is necessary for me to have an idea of with what I'm doing with the Breakfast Group with Project Mister. So I look to him for guidance, for counseling, and have been very grateful for that relationship. Uh, the opportunity to be part of the Seattle Black MBA Association is vital. You know, we listen to companies talk about how to increase the diversity of their organizations. And to me, the way to increase the diversity of organizations is to provide that understanding. But in the midst of providing understanding today, what we have to do is we have to reach back just a little bit. We have to look at inspiring our youngsters to consider careers at an earlier age. Seventh, eighth grade, ninth grade, 10th grade, our young students should be uh, considering careers, and they should be mentored by subject matter experts who can give them information in regards to how to pursue their dreams, how to pursue these careers, and how to be successful not only in life but in college and in business. So what's going to be important is that symbiotic relationship between the Seattle Black MBA, between the colleges in the area, between the businesses in the area, between the entrepreneurs in the area. The way for us to grow a stronger Seattle Black economy is for us to is for us all to work together. Businesses need to work with colleges. The colleges need to work with the high schools. High schools need to work with grammar schools, and the Seattle Black MBA needs to be at the crux of creating or being a joining force to all of those different avenues.
I love it. Yes, yes, and yes. And when I first met you, you talked about the other Dr. James Smith, who was a mentor for you, but you were also already deeply involved in mentoring in the community. That's what really touched my heart, is really you're someone who's willing to step up and do the work, not just
Mhm.
talk about it, but be about it. So you're also currently executive director for an organization called Project Mister. I like, talking a little bit about that through the breakfast group. Sorry, it's
Yes,
through the
yes.
breakfast group, but
Mhm.
there's a program called Project Mister,
Right.
and
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah, so one of the educational programs with the Breakfast Group is called Project Mister. Project Mister is intentionally designed to mentor our young Black and brown boys in the Seattle area. We're currently engaged in programming at 4 schools that have been with us since we started the program: Cleveland High School, Franklin High School, Garfield High School, and Rainier Beach High School. We've currently expanded to Rainier Valley Leadership Academy, and we're looking at putting a program into Roosevelt High School. Uh, the purpose of the mentoring is for us to be able to provide 5 tiers for our young students. We want to provide information in regards to college readiness, career enhancement, health sciences, skills for success, and financial literacy. All of these pieces together help to provide the foundation for our young men going into college, whether that's 2-year college, 4-year college, trade school, or if circumstances dictate, if they have to go directly into the workforce right out of high school, they have the skills necessary to not only get the job, but to be able to maintain the job. So the mentoring aspect is really important. Not to belittle what high schools are doing, but at the end of the day, as much as high schools try to do, a lot of what happens is we prepare our kids to take tests, and we've fallen short of being able to prepare them for what happens after high school. And so that's where the mentoring comes in. That's where that guidance comes in. Uh,
Mhm.
that and the opportunity for Black and brown boys to be in a classroom and to see someone who looks like them is really important. It helps them to feel as though they have a voice in a organization that is set up to be dual sex, but does not cater to their color and their needs. You know,
Mhm.
we're talking about a program that is for the students furthest from educational equity, educational justice, and digital equity. So that's really near and dear to my heart. Really near and dear to the men who volunteer for the breakfast group, and that. So it's certainly something that I'll always continue to be working with.
I love it. And again, another direct synergy to the work that the National Black MBA leads in our Leaders of Tomorrow program. So you
Yes.
guys can see right now we are in good hands, right? He may be relatively new to the organization, but I just wanted to do a little interview here so you could see his heart, see his experience, see the expertise that we
Hmm.
have at the helm. So
There
I'm
we
just proud. People, it's not about the Black MBA, it's about the community that the Black MBA is here to support. And
go.
you are perfectly equipped, heart, mind, and soul, to actually lead this organization. So again, welcome, congratulations. And
Thank
let's
you.
talk a little bit about who we are. I think you have a
Oh,
little presentation you wanted to share. Is that
I
right?
am going to
Just
present and
just
share.
just a little
I'm going
bit.
to
Now,
share my.
as you're pulling that up, what I did want to share as you're pulling it up
Mhm.
is, this organization is a volunteer organization. So Dr. Carter is our new leader. I'm still actually in a role, my new role. I'm the immediate past president of the National Black MBA Association, Tracy Harrell, but I am the current vice president of corporate and community affairs. And we have some amazing projects that we're leading in 2023. So whenever you get ready with the presentation, we'll get going.
Okay.
So again, here's who we are.
So,
Dr. Carter.
yeah, so the purpose is to lead the creation of educational, wealth building, and growth opportunities for professionals throughout their careers. So, again, when we talk about synergy, we're not just looking to talk to people who are already working in business. We're not just looking to talk to people who are already entrepreneurs. What we want to do is we want to connect them with an organization which gives them the opportunity to highlight their experience, to highlight the opportunities that they have. For our students who are currently attending college and those who are working on their MBAs, and then to reach back just a little bit further so we can inspire our young Black and brown boys and girls who are in middle school and high school. And I'm going to go back to that stream. I'm sharing that with you, and I'm going to see how to advance the slide. There we go. Talked about myself a little bit earlier. Again, I'm working with the Breakfast Group here. Retired from the military, retired from the police department. I am on the board for the Southeast Youth and Family Services, and working with a couple of other organizations, as well as Seattle Alphas, Alpha Phi Alpha here in the Seattle area. So keeping pretty busy. But back to the National Black MBA Association, we have quite a few local chapters. We have affiliates in Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago, Illinois, Dallas, Fort Worth, Detroit, Michigan, Houston, Texas. But more importantly, are the ones that we're going to focus on is right here in the Seattle area. We look to renew, refresh, and reset for 2023.
And what I love about this slide, so we put a couple slides in here that we're talking about the last three conferences. So we have the 2021 conference, and our theme was Renew, Refresh, Reset. We're going to talk a little bit about the 22 conference, which we just experienced. And Dr. Carter, I put that in. Go ahead to the next slide as well. So you experienced us in Atlanta at the 44th annual conference. And this year you said, hey, Tracy, the one thing we have to do is we have to talk about this early and talk about this often. So you're like, I want to start talking about it in January. I was like, okay, we'll do it. We'll do it. Why was it so important? How cool was it to be around 10,000 Black people that were professional, amazing? The content was exceptional. Tell us about your experience at the conference.
It was incredible. And walking through the door, my first mindset the first day is, why have I not been involved in this since I was in college? When I was working on my master's degree. And while the organization has definitely been in place during that time, what I want to do is I want to make sure that the voice of the Seattle chapter is heard right here locally. Students who are currently working on their MBAs, whether that's at Pacific Lutheran, Renton Technical College, University of Washington, Seattle University. We need to pull those students in, especially those of color, who are looking to have opportunities afforded to them that they might not otherwise be connected to if they weren't part of the organization. So that's one of the big things that I saw walking in the door. The other is what an absolute wonderful opportunity to network. Not only with our community, with people from different walks of life, from people from different parts of the nation, in addition to some who came from outside of the nation. I believe we had a couple of people from Europe, and there were a few people from the Caribbean area. But the networking was just incredible. You started out with an icebreaker and a getting to know you event. The next couple of days were set working through some of the conferences. And then from there was an expo where students, people, faculty, college members, people who are already in the workforce had the opportunity to not only traverse the expo, but to also have the opportunity to present their resumes to some of the top businesses in the country. We're talking Fortune 500 companies who are offering positions right on the spot. I've never seen that before.
Yes,
I
and
mean,
I'm one of those success stories, Dr.
mhm,
Carter. So again, I worked 8 years at IBM, 14 years at Disney, 5 years at Microsoft, and I'm one of the few people that can honestly say every job I've ever had has been through the National Black MBA Association. It's been
you,
through the
you,
conference. It's a beautiful thing. So it works. That's all
and
I can say. It works.
every company that you mentioned was represented there at the conference. And again, like I said, I had never seen such a gathering of not only of beautiful Black and brown people, but opportunities for those people. I mean, that everyone needs to know about that. It doesn't just need to be a conference for 10,000 people. It needs to be a conference for 20,000 people. And if thousands of those can be right here from the Seattle area, from the Seattle chapter, then we've done what we've set out to do for 2023. So mark your calendar. The National Black MBA Association 45th Annual Conference and Exposition is going to be September 12th through 16th, 2023, and it's going to be in Philadelphia. So what we want to do is, number one, we want to make sure that people are aware. Number two, we want to make sure that people are prepared. Uh, uh, in terms of being able to register for the conference, in terms of being able to arrange transportation, in terms of being able to arrange room and board, we want people to be prepared, and we want to take as many students as we can with us. This works for us as a chapter, as long as we're able to not only communicate and spread the word, but grow the organization and to grow the chapter. That networking will then extend or grow or spread beyond our walls or our borders here in Seattle. It would be great to have someone from the Seattle chapter find an opportunity at a company in Tennessee, or at a company in Florida, at a company in New York, or at a company in California, and then reach back here to the Seattle National Conference, and then reach into some of our members who are that we're working with throughout the year. That's a big plus. And so again, that's my vision. That's something that I see.
I love it. I love it. And again, the other thing that we typically do, Dr. Carter, in prep for the conference is we host, resumes review sessions, right? We host those sessions that are about preparing you. Black MBA is about professional development as well. So we're going to definitely create a space, not just for professionals in the corporate space, but also entrepreneurs. So I'm excited about that.
Beautiful. So
Told you not to be highlighting me.
So I am, you have to excuse me, I am pressing buttons here. Listen, I know it's funny. I know it's funny. I'm pressing buttons here. I'm trying to get it together. I'm trying to keep it together.
You got it. You got it. You got it.
Okay, here we go. All right. So here's some of the companies that were at the conference: Bayer, Blue California, Amazon, Gartner, Georgia Pacific, Google, the NFL, Nike, Toyota, Wells Fargo, the Rockwell, Morgan Stanley, PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, who put on an absolute incredible event. Unbelievable. FedEx, Johnson & Johnson, Hinkle, just to name a few. If the list that's on the screen is impressive, if you can just imagine walking into an exhibition hall the size of a football field and being completely filled, not only with potential employers, but with people who were actively seeking employment. I mean, there were thousands of people who were walking through with their briefcases or folders and giving out 20, 30, 40 copies of their resume to these different companies. And some of the companies were doing interviews right on the spot. Again, like I said, it was just phenomenal.
They all typically come with hiring goals.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to the it's the nation's largest diversity career fair. It's the organization has been around for 52 years. This is the 45th conference. So when I say we do it right and they fill the room, it's about us really taking advantage of what is there before us.
And it's not just important. It's not just important for people to see who are, let's say, getting ready to graduate and complete their MBA within the next 6 months or the next year. Because I mean, that's wonderful. That's great. But I mean, here's an opportunity for you to be able to see an organization that can put you in the mindset of where you could be 2, 3, 4 years down the line. So imagine being a senior in high school thinking that, okay, well, I know what career that I want to go into, and being able to have the opportunity to come to this event and to be able to see it together. Like I'm doing what I need to do in high school, and here's where I'm going to go to college. And if I work hard enough and I decide to go for a degree post college, this is where I'll be working, and these are the opportunities that I have. I think when you put opportunities in front of people, it's something that they can then envision themselves doing, they can envision themselves being. So it's not just important just for our college graduates who are attending or working on their MBAs. I mean, it's important for our college students. It's important for our high school students. And believe it or not, it's going to be important for our middle schoolers as well. So,
and really what we know is true is that professionals at all levels, whether you're a young professional, a senior professional, right? There's something for everyone there. There's all kind of great things. So when you think about the conference and the career fair, there's all this there's this knowledge, right? Then you got the interviews and offers. Again, they're not just there handing out resumes. You're actually interviewing and receiving offers there. And then like you mentioned, Dr. Carter, that last circle talks about the connections and the networking.
It's people that you'll meet and then will probably know the rest of your professional career, not just leaders or captains of industries, but I'm talking about coworkers, people who you've gone to school with, or people who you know from other areas. I mean, that telephone call saying, hey, you know what, an opportunity is coming up because someone has passed away, or someone is looking for another position, and we want to bring a top candidate in here to do the work. That's how a lot of jobs, that's how a lot of positions between $80,000 and $200,000 are filled. Connections from people who know people. So here's a way for you to step outside of your comfort zone, to come to an organization where it is encouraged for you to sit with people you don't know, to have lunch and network and engage with people who you don't know. Because that person sitting next to you, that person across the room, that person on the stage could be the person that gives you the opportunity of a lifetime. And again, that's incredible.
Yes.
So a few of the things that we're looking at doing in terms of our programming, our chapter leadership retreat.
So this is actually what occurs at you participated in this at the national conference. So every year, right before the conference, there's a chapter leadership retreat. They do two things. One is the Leadership Institute. One is the Entrepreneurial the Entrepreneurial Institute as well. And I know, Dr. Carter, entrepreneurship is one of your primary areas of focus for 2023.
Yes,
so this is what happens at the conference. This is about the conference programming. Again, Black MBA is all about leadership, but let's also talk about like entrepreneurship and the things we're going to be able to do in 2023.
Sure. What I'd like to do is to be able to not necessarily put together a how-to guide to be an entrepreneur, but to be able to help walk people through the steps of being an entrepreneur. There's the first thought: do I have a thought or a product that is original other than anything else anyone else is doing? And if the answer to that question is yes, well, how do you take that from the drawing board to actuality? How do I register as a corporation, whether that's an LLC or an S corporation? How do I get funding? How do I get insurance? How do I make sure that I'm filed with the state and the cities that I plan to work in? There is a 20-step process for some entities that you'll need to do in order to get up and off the ground. So let's have that conversation, not just about the thought of being an entrepreneur. Oh, you can be an entrepreneur. You can do this, or you can dream, and you can do this. No. Let's go through the actual steps. Let's go through the process. Let's talk about some of these applications. Let's talk about if you need to file for the FCC. Let's talk about if you need to pay for transportation, if you need to have an attorney to have work done. Do you need to have an accountant? Do you need to have a company that handles HR? Are you going to be an organization that has anywhere between 5 to 20 employees? Are you going to have contractors who work for you part-time? There are a lot of questions. And what we would like for people to do is to come in and to ask questions, but more importantly, to have people to be able to answer those questions to help people get to that next step. So really looking forward to the entrepreneurial institute portion of the Seattle chapter NBA. In addition, there's the DEI roundtable. Diversity, equity, inclusion is one of the top buzzwords from 2021, 2022, and here going into 2023. And the reason why it's still a serious buzzword is because there haven't been a lot of significant movement between 2021 and 2023. Not because companies don't want to hire a more diverse ecosystem. It's more so because we have to put more talent into the pipeline in order to be part of that selection process, in order to be part of that hiring process. So coming to the conference, having the opportunity to interview with over 100 companies, that's a great aspect. But when you think about the thousands of people who attend the conference versus the multitude of people who don't have the opportunity to attend the conference, who don't have the opportunity to be enrolled in the nation's top 100 colleges. For those who have come right out of high school, have to go directly into the workforce, but have a dream or have an opportunity about how to get business started. It's important to not only have an idea of the entrepreneurial feel for it, but it's important to have the knowledge of what you need to know about diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's not just important to know about it. How do I get known? How do I get found? How do I make sure that I'm the person that people are talking about? How do I network? Who do I contact? These are some things that I think should be questions that students are talking about in 9th and 10th grade. It's not that it's too late when you're working on your MBA. That's a beautiful thing. But the thought of working from middle school all the way into adulthood, that's got to be part of our everyday conversation. So.
Agreed. Yes.
So this is just some of the programming that was presented during the conference.
Yes.
Plenty of breakout sessions aimed at increasing exposure to leadership skills, technology, financial wellness, and globalization. We're talking about some really dynamic speakers who were volunteering their time for the most part to come in and to provide this education. In addition to plenary sessions that were aimed at specificity of different aspects of business. Some other conference programming was the Fitting and Fitness CEO reception, welcome reception. Again, that was just beautiful. The college reception, the health village, just one of those things where nuggets that you should know from your parents, from your grandparents. You can't help anyone if you are not healthy yourself. So making sure that you have that work-life balance is just one of the key features of the Health Village. I thought that was great. MBA Live and then the Impact Awards Gala, all incredible.
Dr. Carter, if you think about it, true, that there's lots. Go back to that last slide real quick. I just kind of wanted to clarify that the last 4 or 5 slides that he was just sharing are about the additional things that happen at the National Black MBA Conference, right? So in addition to because we're known for 3, 4, 5 days of deep professional development, leadership development, the Leadership Institute, the Entrepreneurial Institute. There's tons of courses, trainings, and webinars, et cetera, that are there live, right, for you to be able to engage. But a lot of this is really looking beyond the professional developments, beyond the basics, right? So even just the MBA Live, right, we're legendary also. Mm-hmm. You were exhausted, not just from the learning.
Oh, I was worn out.
There was some late nights.
I was worn out.
Like college reunion, right?
Exactly, because you have all of the events during the day, and then you have the networking at night, dinner, hospitality suites, the opportunity to engage not only with the people who attend the conference with you, but then the new people, the new friends, the new connections that you make. I mean, it just makes for a long day, and by the end of the week, you're almost ready to come home to get a vacation before going back to work, because it's a whirlwind. You start off, if you get there on Wednesday, Thursday, and I mean, you are running 100 miles an hour all the way. To the
Right.
finish line. Yeah.
And if you're part of a leadership team, which we hope many of you will decide to donate your time to lean into this leadership team, to be a part of our committees, to do what you do and just do it in community with us, then you're starting Monday and Tuesday. That's the Leadership Institute that we're talking, the Leadership Retreat rather. So it's a couple of days in the beginning of that week, and then it's a long week. So we are asking you to prepare. Go back to the dates real quick, Dr. Carter. Go back to the dates of the conference. And so we're going to conclude this conference part of the presentation. But that gold slide right there. So again, it's September 16th, 12th through the 16th of 2023. It's our 45th annual conference, and it's going to be in Philadelphia. We've actually been to Philly several times. It's a classic town. It's a great experience. So, Dr. Carter, you going to be there?
Oh, most definitely.
And we bring 10 of our friends with us, right? So it's going to be amazing.
I am looking forward to attending. I think that, again, I was pleasantly surprised at everything that was going on when I attended. The welcome reception, and not so much the welcome reception that, let's say, Coca-Cola hosted. I'm talking about coming into the lobby of the hotel and everyone being there saying, "Hey, all right, your first session, it's going to be over here. This is where we're going to hold the expo. This is where, the info that you're given, the guidance that you're given, the welcome mat that's rolled out. It's really incredible. And again, and while there's certainly a global audience, there's absolutely nothing more fantastic than seeing beautiful Black and brown people who look like me, providing me with some guidance and leadership and networking. I just can't speak highly enough about it. So really looking forward to attending, but more important, I'm looking forward to helping people have the same experience that I had. So.
Nice. I love it. You said several times, I feel the love. I feel the love. Like it's exceptional. So we are preparing you. You said you wanted to start January off so that people were had no excuses not to start saving right now, not to start budgeting and be prepared. So in September, we're taking a crew. Now I am going to have you talk a little bit about we had some more slides to share, but we'll come back and do that another time. But I would like for you to talk a little bit about 2023. We said we talk a little bit about the planning. And one of the things we said we were going to have two, there's a lot of things that are happening, right? One of the initiatives we're leading is it's our commitment to progress, right? Our commitment to progress is an economic empowerment series. It's actually we're calling it a transformational experience. And we're going to be focused on the pillars of equity, community, health, wealth, wisdom, and entrepreneurship. So we actually got a little baby grant that we're going to use to provide some training to our community in the areas of entrepreneurship. But we're also going to be focused on economic empowerment. So as we layer in what's really important to you, what you've all said is important to you, what we were founded to do, just know that we need more of your input, but we're going to start activating. So the reason we're using the language around our commitment to progress is there was an organization called WEAR, Washington Employers for Racial Equity, who brought together about 80 companies to declare how they were going to support and foster inclusion, right? They said they were going to create a more diverse supplier network, and they're doing some work. They're convening people, but we're going to help to amplify and accelerate that work. And so what we said we were going to do in both June and November is a little bit of an awards, right, ceremony, right, an awards opportunity. And we're going to be partnering with other organizations around what this looks like, what it can look like. I'm not going to mention some names, but I've spoken to 3 different organizations this week who are like, I love it, love it, love it. So we're calling them the Freedom Awards, right? And we're going to be highlighting companies that are truly driving change as it relates to equity and community and health and wealth, right? And wisdom and entrepreneurship. Like, really, how do we celebrate those in our community that are really doing this work? So, Dr. Carter, why was it so important for you to say, I want to celebrate people in both June and I want to do it again in November? Like, I want to create a space where there's recognition of companies and individuals in our community. Why was that important?
Well, a closed fist can receive nothing. So to ask of people to give their time, to give their space, to give of their resources, and not have the opportunity to give back, to reach out and to genuinely give back, and to celebrate people, to give them their roses for the work that they're doing right when it's happening. That's really important. I mean, the growth for the organization just cannot come from the membership. The growth of the organization has to come from the organizations that are willing to work and partner with us. So it's important to celebrate the organizations who are doing an outstanding job of increasing their diversity. It's important to celebrate the individuals who are making the contacts and the connections and providing the lessons and the leadership and the volunteer hours. And it's important to celebrate the individuals who are going out of their way to receive that knowledge, to attend the events, to volunteer their time, to help out, to spread the word, to help network. All of that, that synergy, it all ties in together. We grow as an organization as we reach out beyond our nucleus. So it's really important for me. Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. So is there anything else you want to share? I know you said you wanted to keep this relatively short tonight. Is there anything else you wanted to share? Any invitation to invite people to join us on this journey? Anything else you want to share about 2023 while you're excited?
So let me just say to look for us on the website, Seattle Black MBA. We'd certainly love for you to learn a little bit more about the organization, but more importantly, would love for you to join the organization. We are definitely looking at coming to a college near you. So again, Pacific Lutheran University, Highline College, Renton Community College, Renton Technical College, Seattle Pacific, Seattle U, University of Washington. Look out. We are on our way to get some of your students to be a part of the program. And in addition, we've laid out our plans for 2023. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to make sure that everyone is invited to our monthly meetings, which will be for the purpose of providing information, doing some planning, the opportunity to answer questions and deal with concerns, in addition to increasing membership. So we'll definitely make sure that we get that information out. Be on the lookout for emails from us for meetings. I'd like to do as many meetings in person as possible. However, we will be hybrid. So you have the opportunity to meet in person. We will have either a Zoom or a StreamYard opportunity for the hybrid piece for people to be able to chime in, ask questions, and feel as though they're a part of the process. And then more importantly, we want people to really get excited about the training that we have coming up, and then the opportunities that will present themselves as we move further on into the year. So
I love it. So our next two formal events. There's one on 2/23/23 and 3/23/23. Do you love those dates? February 23rd and March 23rd. And we're going to be kicking off really asking the questions, why is it so important that we focus on community now? Like this commitment to progress. We talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. We want to foster inclusion within the organization. So if you're part of any of the Blacks at Microsoft, the Blacks at Amazon, the Blacks at Boeing, the Blacks at anything, if you're part of any of the diversity resource groups in any professional role, any company, any entrepreneurial role, right?
Reach out to us. Yes.
All right. Yes, we invite you to be a part of this journey, right? It's about our voices. So for all the companies who've said that they want to create and foster this inclusive culture, guess what? When we unite, we get to decide what success looks like. They can't just show up and say, we good, we've mission accomplished, hang up the mission accomplished banner before we even made it out to war.
There we go.
Before we even worked up a sweat. No.
Exactly.
We get to decide what success looks like. So we really want to unite, connect. And again, it's about our voices that will really help to tell the story as professionals and as entrepreneurs. There's tons of great entrepreneurial training coming, but it's also about us connecting and deciding that, again, our voices matter, and we're going to help those organizations that we know want to support us. We're going to help them to really drive true change. I'm excited, Dr. Carter.
All right. So am I. Well, thank you for the opportunity to, number one, to become part of the organization, and then to really take on a vital role for the organization. I have certainly enjoyed the networking, the friendship, the training, and the learning that I've had to take on to not only be a part of the organization, but now to be in a position to lead the organization. But I look at it this way: I'm a lifelong learner. An old dog can be taught new tricks all the time. And so I am certainly willing, able, and open to learning as much as I can, and will certainly, in addition to answering questions and helping to handle problems, I'll be asking a lot of questions as well. So.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And again, we invite you to be a part of the journey. 2023 is going to be an amazing year. Reach out, Dr. Carter. It's president at seattleblackmba.org, right? Our website is seattleblackmba.org. And again, this is going to be an amazing year, y'all. Get ready, get ready, get ready.
There we go. Now, I know that it's about time for us to end the broadcast. Yes. I think what we're going to have to do is come up with some theme music for when we come in and when we get ready to exit,
I like that.
Yeah, well, we're practicing at it right now. We're practicing. I think as we get into it a little bit more, graphics, music, the whole nine, nine yards. Listen, maybe even put up a couple of our own commercials, to really
don't get too excited. No,
exactly.
Thank you, Dr. Carter.
All right, you take care.
So excited. Thank you.